And now our second and final question from Matthew Brooks of the Republican Jewish Coalition. Please watch.
Jewish students across the country are threatened and under attack. What do you say to Jewish students on college campuses who feel unsafe given the dramatic rise in anti-Semitism? And what do you say to university presidents and college presidents who have not met the moral clarity moment to forcefully condemn Hamas terrorism?
Mr. Ramaswamy, would you like to take that one?
Absolutely. I think the scourge of anti-Semitism across this country, including at places like my alma maters and places like Brooklyn Bridge in New York, it's sad to see, but here's what history teaches us. Anti-Semitism is a symptom of a deeper cancer in a country and a society that is lost, and we are lost. Several years ago, when I wrote my first book, Woke Inc., I was talking about they were chanting death to America. Death to white people, death to Christians. Nobody was waking up back then. Now it's even bad. Now they're saying death to Israel and worse. So it is wrong, but we have to get to the root cause here. Now, I think it's really important that we do this through leadership, not censorship. Leadership means fill that void with purpose and meaning. Dilute this wokeism and anti-Semitism to irrelevance. These kids, they have no idea what the heck they're even talking about. When they're siding with Hamas over Israel, they are fools. But I also want to caution here, if we go the direction of Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley, with whom I respectfully disagree on this issue, pro-censorship, telling student groups to disband, mark my words, soon they will say if you question a vaccine and its side effects, you're a bioterrorist. Soon they will say that if you show up at a school board meeting, you're a domestic terrorist. Soon if they say that J6 prisoners should be released, you're an insurrectionist terrorist. So that's where this road ends. We don't quash this with censorship because that creates a worse underbelly. We quell it through leadership by calling it out. These university administrators have lost their way, and we need leadership at the top in the United States of America that restores our founding values and that has no place for this kind of anti-Semitic hate. That's where I stand while respecting our Constitution.
Your time is out. Senator Scott, let me get you.
So I think that was a great answer from Vivek, and I wasn't planning on stopping at that point, but I think that was a really good response for him. And I do kind of want to get into the Israel versus Hamas conflict that's going on right now. I want to put that on hold because we'll get to that in a little bit. But I think that is a great answer. I think that, something that we have to remember as the conservative party is that, we tend to complain when things are done to us. And then when we have an opportunity, we're so quick to want to do those same things back to the other side. So, we complain about censorship, right? We complain about not being able to voice our opinions without being deplatformed, without being censored, without having fact checkers, underneath our posts and things of that nature. But it's, we complain about those things, but then when we see another group of people or the other side who is, obviously misinformed, uninformed, don't know what they're talking about, spreading really disgusting rhetoric and really, and this is why words are important, right? Words are really important, but this is actual anti-Semitism. I don't say that like lightly, but when you're showing support for a group that literally wants to annihilate the Jews, they want to annihilate them from the river to the sea, as they say, when you show support for a group like that, it's really hard not to call it anything but disgusting. But to censor these groups and to remove them from being able to have their voice, I mean, that's the same thing that we complain about on the right? Like we complain about those things, and it's just like the key or the solution to to misinformation or to hate speech is not to take away their speech. It's more speech. It's calling these things out and saying, no, this is wrong. This is why it's wrong. And I think that kind of gets lost. And I think Vivek is really the only candidate, that's on stage right now that really understands that message. But yeah, I want to actually, let's just skip to, because I want to get to some other topics. I have to go soon, so I want to get to some other topics. So I want to just get to the end where, let's see if I can find where he.
Fighting wars that sent thousands of our sons and daughters, people my age, to die in wars.
To do at this moment, Governor DeSantis?
I would be telling Bibi, finish the job.
So the question is, Netanyahu right now in the wake of his conflict with Hamas.
Once and for all,
so
with these butchers. They're terrorists.
Going to skip over.
They're massacring innocent people. They would
this
Between you and the candidates we just heard on this issue, on what you would tell the Prime Minister?
Not in terms of what I would tell the Prime Minister, no. In fact, I would go one step further. The founding vision of Israel was based on the idea that they don't want to depend on anybody else's sympathy or direction in defending themselves. So what I would tell Bibi is that Israel has the right and the responsibility to defend itself. I would tell him to smoke those terrorists on his southern border, and then I'll tell him as President of the United States, I'll be smoking the terrorists on our southern border. That's his responsibility. This is our responsibility. That's how we move forward. But I want to be careful to avoid making the mistakes from the neocon establishment of the past. Corrupt politicians in both parties spent trillions, killed millions, made billions for themselves in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, fighting.
Can we just acknowledge, like, that was a bar, okay? That was a bar. He said that these politicians have spent trillions, killed millions, and made billions for themselves. Okay? Can we just, that was a bar. That was a bar. And he's absolutely correct. You know, I think that's a message that I think gets lost within the party on this particular issue. I think that this is a rare occurrence where the Republican Party actually aligns with, you know, Joe Biden on something as far as showing support for Israel and, you know, just allowing them to defend themselves, not condemning them for defending themselves, and just showing our support for them. But I think where the president, you know, where the administration and the party, where we kind of split ways on that issue, is whether or not America should be involved in that conflict. I do, you know, or at least, you know, the Republican voters, I'll say, not the Republican Party or the politicians in that party. I think that the administration, they want to send money, send funds to Ukraine. And I'm not necessarily against that, but it's just like when you look at America and we have so many problems here at home, it's just like, how are we even like talking about sending money to other countries? Like, it's just, and I understand that we do have a obligation to these countries, right? We do have that agreement with them, like we are in alliance with them. But it's just, we have so many issues going on at home. It just does not resonate with Republican voters, at least, and maybe some Democrats too, but it just does not resonate for us to be sending our resources over to them when we have so many things at home that need our attention. So yeah, that was a bar. That was just a bar from Vivek. Let's get back into it.
Wars that sent thousands of our sons and daughters, people my age, to die in wars that did not advance anyone's interests, adding $7 trillion to our national debt. And Joe Biden sold off our foreign policy. Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. That's why we're sending $200 billion back to that same country. The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family. Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire. So I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case we've got two of them on stage tonight.
Ramaswamy, thank you.
I just wanted to hear that line again. That was just great. Like, do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels? Like, which is what she is. Like, that's literally what she is. Like, she's a warmonger, like he said. Like, she serves on the board for, you know, defense contracts. So it's just like how she wants war because she makes money off of them. So it's like, it's easy for her to be like, oh, we need to defend these people. We need to send our resources here. But one, Nikki Haley, you never have to fight in any of these wars. And, you know, you make money off of them. So it's easy for you to say that. But it's like, it's the people, it's the voters. It's our sons, it's our daughters, it's our sisters, our brothers, our cousins, our mothers, our fathers who are having to go and fight in these wars. And so that's one thing about the neocon, I guess, party, like the neocon establishment, is that like they're just so eager and ready to go to war, and it's just like the voters are not necessarily on board with that. And I think that Vivek resonates a lot with, like the average voter. Nikki Haley, she resonates with the older generation of Republicans, the ones that are kind of like aging out. But yeah, I think he was absolutely correct, and I loved his little dig at her and at DeSantis, but a lot of people didn't catch his dig at DeSantis, but he was saying that this Dick Cheney and 3 inch heels, DeSantis has been, kind of like getting roasted for allegedly wearing heels, in his boots, whatever the case is. So I want to get to one last thing that Vivek did in the debate. This is these were his closing remarks, and then I will move on to Israel and Hamas. Let's see how the closing. Here we go.
This president, and I will make sure that I return honesty, integrity to the Oval Office. We deserve and should accept nothing less.
Governor, thank you very much. Let's go to Mr. Ramaswamy now. Your 1 minute.
We've talked a lot about foreign wars tonight, but we're in the middle of a war right here at home. It's a war not between black and white or Democrat and Republican. It's between those of us who believe in our founding ideals and love this country and a fringe minority who hates the United States of America. And I think it's going to take a commander-in-chief to lead us to victory in that war, who first of all knows that we're in a war. Second of all, can't be captured by the special interests along the way. But third is from the next generation, somebody with fresh legs to lead us to victory. I'll shut down the deep state. I'll declare economic independence from China. I'll keep us out of World War III and then revive national pride in this country. I also want to close with one message to the Democrat Party. End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee. We know he's not even the president of the United States. He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put up so we can have an honest debate. Biden should step aside, end his candidacy now so we can see whether it's Newsom or Michelle Obama or whoever else.
All right,
just
Mr.
tell us the
Ramaswamy,
truth so we can have an honest debate.
Ambassador.
Listen, Joe is a walking corpse, okay? Can we just put it out there? Can we all just acknowledge reality, please? Okay, Joe he's not there. He's not up here. It's gone. Whatever he had a few years ago, it's gone. If it's a disease, it may be dementia, whatever the case is, that is sad. I'm so sorry to him that that's happening, but he is not there. And we all see it. We all have to pretend like everything's fine, like he's fine. He's not. Okay. There we go. All right. So had a slight struggle stream going on. But yeah, like Joe Biden, he's just not there. And that's okay. Like, it's okay that he's not there, but can we just have an open discussion about it? Can we be honest about it? And I love that Vivek called this out on a national stage, on a national platform. They're gonna try to ignore it, act like it didn't happen, but I'm so glad that he called this out. And he's so right. Like, can we just call it out, call it for what it is, put forward whoever it is that y'all actually want to put forward. let's just get on with it. Like, let's just get on with it. Move on from Joe Biden. He's not going to be the candidate. Even Kamala. No one wants Kamala, but if y'all want to throw her in there, then do it. But it's not going to be Joe. So can we just stop acting like it's going to be Joe? Please, 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 and thank you.